This is the part of trading that no one shows you, and it's the reason why people stay stuck for years. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys the exact tools I use every single day to find my trades, time my entries, and manage risk. So let's not waste time. Let's get straight to the video. All right, so first one, we're going to check out FinViz. Now, a lot of people use this as a screener, but personally, the main thing that I used this when I first started trading was the heat map, because before I even look at a single chart, I want to understand the market as a whole. And this is something that most traders skipped, at least I did when I first started. You know, they wake up, you jump straight into the charts, you start, automatically looking for trades without even knowing what the market is doing. But if you open FinViz, you can instantly see which sectors are strong, which sectors are weak, and where money is flowing. So for an example, if you see like tech is all green and let's just say energy is all red, that already tells you where the momentum is. And now instead of randomly picking stocks, you're aligning yourself with strength. And this matters much more than people realize, because even the best setups can fail if it's in a weak sector. So this is always step one for me, is understand the environment. Okay, so whenever you guys get time, use FinViz. This is not some sort of ad. I actually use this all the time. So that is number one on the list. Now for this tool, this is where everything actually happens. As you guys know, I only use TradingView. So this is where I do all my analysis, and I keep it very simple. I don't want crazy indicators. I don't want overcomplicated, setups. I just want to see price action, So what I'm focusing on is the actual setup, the structure of that stock, levels, and the behavior. So when I pull up a chart, I'm asking myself, is this trending up or down? Where are the key levels, and how is price reacting around those key levels? And this is where most people get it wrong. They rely too much on indicators. I see it all the time in this community where you would spot these gurus have RSI, MACD, EMA, all these different tools all at once, instead of actually learning how to actually read the chart. But if you understand price action, you don't need anything else, to be honest. For an example, you can look at a chart and see higher lows are forming. And if higher lows are forming, that means that, indicates strength. If you see lower highs forming, that indicates that there's weakness. And once you understand that, you start seeing setups actually pretty early. You're not chasing anymore. You're just on the side of anticipating. And that's the difference. Now let me walk you guys through how I actually use these together. So I start with FinViz. I get a sense of the market, and then I move to TradingView and start going through the charts. And I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for patterns that repeat. So things like, wedges, consolidation, trend line support, because the market moves in patterns. I posted a video yesterday about ticker symbol SOUN, and actually I'll pull it up here. As you can see on the chart, there's multiple wedges. You can see some sort of patterns forming, back to back to back. And once you start understanding that, you don't really need to overthink it. You just wait for the setup to come to you. Let's get on to the next tool. Now this next one is capital trades. This is more of a secondary tool, but it's still useful because it shows you what Congress members are buying and selling. Because if you guys didn't know, this administration with Trump, there is so much insider trading that I've seen in my whole entire life, to be honest. But now again, I'm not copying trades, but it does give, me insight. If you start seeing consistent buying in a certain stock or sector, it's something to pay attention to. I guess it just adds another layer of context. Now, of course, you can have FinViz. You can check out capital trades and see all these politicians, what they're buying, what they're selling, but you still have to have a proper broker to obviously trade these stocks. So let's talk about brokers for a second. For smaller accounts, something like Robinhood is fine. At least when I started out, Robinhood, it was easier to navigate. The system is pretty good for beginner traders. So yes, it's simple, it's easy to use, and it gets the job done. So if you want to, play options, my point is it looks very smooth for a new trader. But what I realized early in my journey while my account was growing, execution starts to matter much more. And that's where something like Schwab comes in. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but who cares? You have better fills, more control, and in my eyes, it's more reliable. because we know with Robinhood and all these brokers, whenever things like GameStop or whenever there's a big stock, on the market, everyone's talking about it, they have a glitch, or just like, I think it was ticker symbol NKD, I think it was, and they completely stop people from buying. It's good for smaller accounts, but when you actually have money in the game, you do not want to be part of that, charades and all that stuff. And for my international people that's watching, as you guys know, I'm currently in Europe. I trade options all the time. And I realized that Interactive Broker is honestly pretty good for options. So it really depends on where you're at. But the main thing is you want a broker that fits your exact level. And you have to also recognize when you graduated from that level. Now we're getting to the part where people don't want to actually hear this. None of this matters. If you don't have discipline, you can have all the tools in the world, but if you're over trading, chasing, or not following a certain plan, you're still gonna lose. And the real edge in trading comes from patience, consistency, and having a process. So these tools that I mentioned above supports all of that. So yeah, this is pretty much everything I use. Nothing, too complicated, just the right tools used the right way. I break down all of this in real time in the Discord. Obviously, you guys know that's where I post my entries, my exits, and all these strategies that I'm showing you guys on here. So if you want to join, like I said earlier, links in the description. Let's get this video to 100 likes, and I'll see you guys in the next video.